guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to make a German chocolate cake from box, but what makes this different is the box cake mix is expired. Now I get a lot of comments and a lot of questions about eating expired food, and I eat expired food. I have my entire life, and I've never gotten sick. I've never known anyone that's gotten sick. And so just a disclaimer, use your common sense. If something doesn't smell good, look good, taste good, don't eat it, But especially with a lot of this box stuff, it's so highly processed that it's meant to basically be good indefinitely, especially if the container is in good condition. So if you don't feel comfortable eating expired stuff, then I completely understand. But I'm going to show you guys how I make a cake from box using expired cake mix. So here is the German chocolate cake mix. It's from Pillsbury. As you guys can see, this says November 2nd, 2019, and today is May 2nd, 2020. So it's not too awful expired. I actually got this for free from somebody only a few weeks ago. And everyone I know knows I don't mind eating expired food. Now, as you can see, the box is not moist. It's not wet. It's not damaged in any way. And so we're going to open up the box. And I'm going to show you guys. Now, if the bag inside was punctured or damaged in some way, then I would not use it. So I'm finding out with you guys if it's good to eat. And as you can see, there's nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. It's all intact. So what we're going to do today is I'm just going to follow the instructions, but instead of using oil, I am going to use applesauce. Now it says unsweet applesauce, but I'm going to use cinnamon applesauce because that's what I have, and this is homemade. So, as you can see, it says substitute. Instead of oil, you could use a half a cup of applesauce. Now I have oil, but I've had this applesauce for a little while, so I've already got it out, and oil has a longer shelf life than homemade applesauce. So we're just going to use what we have and ration the oil and different things. And I have plenty of eggs. These eggs are actually from my mother's chickens. My parents have a bunch of backyard free-range chickens. They basically run the entire backyard and are very happy chickens, and they play with the dogs and my brothers and sisters and all that kind of stuff. So we are going to use those to make this cake. Okay, so I've got my I've got my 3 eggs and my applesauce and my mix. Another thing you can do is, if you don't eat eggs, don't have eggs, whatever the case, you can actually substitute a half cup of applesauce for each egg. So you could potentially use 2 cups of applesauce instead of egg and oil. The only thing is it's going to be super, super moist, which is not a bad thing. But I like to use bundt pans. This is my bundt pan. I think I got it for $1 or $2 at a yard sale many years ago. And this is my preferred preference, especially because if I'm eating it, I like the way that it slices up. I like the way that it looks. And it also goes into my cake cover better than other cakes. Just a personal preference. And if you use the applesauce instead of eggs and oil, then it kind of gets very fally apart. Another option is, instead of using eggs, oil, or applesauce, you could use a can of soda, diet soda, seltzer water. And again, you wouldn't want to use a bundt pan for that. You'd want to use just a regular cake pan or cookie sheet pan, however you guys make it, whatever you guys call it. I usually cook my cakes in rectangle Pyrex, like the 9x13, and that would be perfect if you were just going to use like a can of soda instead of the other ingredients. Here is the cake batter. As you can see, it just looks like standard cake batter. It looks good, smells good. I did taste it. It's rather tasty. Here is my bundt pan. It already is sprayed with cooking oil. I just use this coconut cooking spray, and I get this from the Dollar Tree. So next I'm going to put the cake mix into the bundt pan. I already have the oven preheated. Okay, here it is, and I'm just going to even it out a little bit, and then we're going to put this in the oven. Let's check the box. For a bundt pan, you want to do 39 to 43 minutes. I'm going to do 39 minutes and then check on it. Here is my German chocolate cake. I just pulled it out of the oven. As you can see, it is super, it's firm. It looks pretty good, I think. Now, I've had it cooling for a little while, and it actually only needed to cook for about 30 to 33 minutes instead of the 39. But that's just my oven. And I am going to flip it over on a cooling rack. Here is my German cake cooling. Now all I did was I flipped it and it landed on this side, and then I just flipped it back over. I can show you guys that side looks pretty good. And this is just, you know, how I'm going to have it. And then I'm going to let it cool for a little while, and then I will put some frosting on it. I am actually going to use some rich and creamy vanilla frosting. This too is expired. This expired in 2019. Now again, I am going to, it's never been opened, so if I can get it open with one hand, possibly. Yep, there we go. So as you can see, it's never been opened. That's not a puncture mark, that's just from my finger, but it's completely sealed. So when I open it, I will inspect it, give it a little taste, a little sniff. But this is so heavily processed that I'm sure that it's fine. And if it's not, then I won't eat it. But I'm going to let this cool, and then I'm going to check out the frosting, and I will be right back with you guys. I just tried the vanilla frosting. As you can see, there's no discoloration. It smells fine. It tastes fine. Looks fine. So I will be using this to frost my cake once it cools down completely. My cake has completely cooled down, and I just put it on my cake saver. This is really good for transporting it to people's houses or to parties or what have you, or just storing it on your countertop to have. And I am going to frost it. And I think I got this container for like $1 or $2 at a thrift store, and I get a lot of use out of it. Now here is the frosting, and as I showed you guys, I already tested it and it's fine. And so we're going to open it, and what I like to do is put it in my microwave. It's got that little piece of metal on there I need to get off. But I put it in my microwave for just a few seconds, and then I just pour it on top. You can frost 2 or 3 cakes with one jar, and it's not a ton of frosting. It's more of like a glaze, which is my personal preference. So that's what we're going to do. I put it in my microwave for about 15 seconds, and as you can see, it is liquidy. And this is just how I do it, but you guys do it however you want. And I just slowly pour it over top. And again, it just depends how much frosting you are wanting. And I just like it like a glaze. There we go. And then 1 can of frosting can be used for multiple cakes, multiple projects, and I think that looks really nice. And I've taken this kind of stuff to parties and cookouts and different things a lot, or just for my own personal use. And then you can also mix the frostings. If you have a little bit of one and a little bit of another, or what have you, or want to make some sort of marble cake, this is another good option. So these were expired, and I used them and they smell good, and from what I tasted of them, they taste good, and as you can see, they look just like a cake and frosting. So don't be afraid to try expired stuff, depending upon what it is, depending upon your comfort level, and give it a try. And the goal is to not have expired stuff in your house to begin with. Use it before it expires, but stuff happens, you know. And just look at how nice that looks. I think it looks pretty good. So, yeah, we're going to cut into this in a little bit, and I will show you guys how it all looks. Here is my piece of cake all cut. As you can see, it looks really good, and I'm going to give it a taste. It's very good. It's very moist. It's very good. So that was the cake and frosting that I made with the expired cake and frosting, and it turned out really good. Nothing wrong with it. It's going to be a nice little treat for the next few days for my husband and I. I'm really encouraging you guys to try not to waste. This is a lifestyle, is not wasting and using what we have. Please consider subscribing, like and comment below. If you didn't know, I have an Instagram, The Frugal Life with Mercedes. And until next time, guys, bye.